1981, a fascinating experiment was conducted by the psychologist Ellen Langer. 8 men in their 70s stepped out of a van in front of a converted monastery in New Hampshire. They moved slowly, a few of them moving uncomfortably slowly because of arthritis. Some of them had canes. There they went through the door of this house, and they entered a time warp. Their favorite tunes from decades ago were on the radio. Ed Sullivan was playing on a black and white TV. Everything inside, including the books on the shelves and the magazines lying around, were designed to make it seem like it was 1959. The men didn't just reminisce about what things were like at the time. A control group did that. They were instructed instead to behave as it was actually 1959, while the control group lived in a similar environment, but didn't act as if it was decades ago. This group discussed historical events as if they were current news, and no provisions were made that acknowledged the men's weakened physical state. No one carried their bags or helped them up the stairs or treated them like they were old. There were even pictures lying around of each of the men, of their younger selves, of course. Now, a week later, both the control group and the experimental group showed improvement. Or as Langer wrote, physical strength, manual dexterity, gait, posture, perception, memory, cognition, taste, sensitivity, hearing, and vision. They were all improved. But according to Langer's account, most of those improvements were much more significant in the group that was told to live as if it was actually 1959. A full 63% had better intelligence test scores at the end of the experiment than they did at the beginning, compared with only 44% in the control group. 4 volunteers who knew nothing about the study looked at the before and after photos of the men in the experimental group and said that those in the after photos looked an average of 2 years younger than those in the before. On the last day of the study, Langer wrote that men who seemed so frail just days before ended up playing an impromptu touch football game on the front lawn. Now, we've all been told that we become wiser as we become older. But unfortunately for us, our bodies don't always keep up with this growing clarity and wisdom. Each year that passes in our lives, we build up more experiences, more stories, more interactions with people and places and ideas. Answers that may have confounded us when we were younger begin to make sense, and serious problems or challenges move to the side as the blessing of perspective takes over. It's, of course, never a perfect process, but the time of aging, when done with kavanah, with intention, can, in the words of Reb Zalman Shalter Shalomi, be truly a time of saging, of gaining the deepest of wisdom and growth. In this week's Parshat Chayyei Sarah, we read that Abraham is nearing the end of his life. His wife Sarah has just died, and he manages to obtain a cave from the Hittites, in which Sarah is later buried. Then we read, V'Avraham zaken ba bayamim, v'Hashem berach et Avraham b'kol. Abraham was old. Oldness has come to his days, or he was advanced in years, and God had blessed him in all things. Now, amazingly, this is the first time in the entire Torah that someone is said to be zaken, old, while others have aged, some to numbers that seem to us to be a bit unreasonable. There was seemingly no deeper meaning to their age other than marking the time that they'd been on this earth. Somehow, while others had aged, Abraham did it with purpose. In fact, the Hebrew word for old, zaken, is a mystical acronym for Zeh Kana Chochmah. This one has gained wisdom. For Abraham, every year of his life was his lesson. His trials and the joys that he experienced in life helped him grow and learn. Or to put it more simply, he grew wise as he became older. As Abraham sits on the stoop of his tent reflecting on his life, we're told, Adonai berach et Avraham bakol. God blessed Abraham with everything. He was content, he felt his life was fulfilled, and we could assume that now he could die peacefully. The Hasidic commentator, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, writes in his book, Sefer Pri Haaretz, that Abraham is blessed because of his long life, how he lived it in relation to God, but more importantly, because of his positive attitude about being old. In a way, like the old men in the study, his attitude about aging changed Abraham from the inside out and made sure that this time was one of blessing. So we all get older, and we hope that our lives are filled with blessing as we age. We should take the experiences and learning which we encounter in our daily lives and not just accumulate them, but we should fully live them. May we all take the wisdom we've gained over the years and use them to help our family, our friends, and our community fulfill their needs. If we do this, then when we are old, we too will feel fulfilled. And like Abraham, we will feel contented. Hopefully then we can see old age as not only becoming wise, but also as a blessing in itself.